It's time for another army review from the Armies of the Lord of the Rings. Hello and welcome to yet another video here on the YouTube channel STF Wargaming Studio. My name is Andreas Norwegian Viking and today I have the review from the Armies of the Lord of the Rings for the Middle-earth strategy battle game. It is Angmar. So Angmar, of course, one of my favourite armies in the game. I can't tell you how much I love Angmar. Sadly, I've never really played a pure Angmar force. I've been struggling to get around the nomite concept and the heroes, and even when I was taking a shade to the Norwegian masters to try to win the whole thing, I didn't go all out. So yeah. Angmar, of course, is a force that can take loads of different things and specialises on shenanigans and cool stuff like that. So I wanted to talk a bit about the force and what they can do, and also present all the new changes to all the characters and troops, of course. So army composition. This army may include the Witch King of Angmar, the Tainted, the Dwemer Lake, Gulavar, the Terror of Arnor, Burda, the Troll Chieftain, Shades, Barrow Wights, Angmar Orc Captains, Angmar Orc Shaymins, Wild Warg Chieftains, Angmar Orc Warriors, Angmar Warg Riders, Cave Trolls, Wild Wargs, and Dead Marsh Spectres. The profile for the Witch King of Angmar, of course, I went through on the in the Barad-dûr review, which you saw yesterday. Or was it the Mordor one? Yeah, no, it was Barad-dûr, sorry. And in this army, the Witch King of Angmar counts as a hero of legend. If it's taken part of an Angmar army list, of course, it's only hero of valor in, well, only, in the Barad-dûr list. The army is convenient allies with the Desolator of the North and Moria. They are impossible allies with everyone else. Of course, the Kingdom of Arnor and Angmar struggled against each other, and that might be the reason why they can't be allied historically with anyone, because by the time we come to the War of the Ring, which the game is set in, or even the time of the Hobbit, which other parts of the game are set in, the Angmar armies, as it were, are no more. So, the army bonus for this army is if that fell kingdom should rise again, Rivendell, Lorien, the Shire, even Gondor itself shall fall. Friendly Angmar orc models within 3 inches of a friendly spirit hero gain the Terror special rule. An absolutely awesome ability, I think, which can turn the tides of battles. And it really makes you invest in that kind of hero, that spirit hero, which of course Angmar has a lot of. Talking about spirits, of course, we will not go through the Witch King, because we already talked about the Witch King, but we will concentrate more on other heroes. And as you heard in the opener, there are 2 other named ring rates, except the Witch King, that this army can take. And the first one is the Tainted. One of my favourite models, not necessarily profiles, but models from for the named ring rates. I think that model is such a cool one. So yeah, the Tainted, unchanged in points as all the named ring rates are. Spirit, Ringwraith, Mordor, Angmar, Infantry, Hero, and Hero of Valor. So it has both the Mordor and Angmar keyword. Reason for this is that it can be included in both lists. It has move 6, fight 5, 4+ shoot, strength 4, defense 8, 1 attack 1 wound, 6 courage. It now has 2 might, so going up by 1 might, 14 will, going up by 2 will, and 2 fate, going up by 1. It has heavy armor and sword, and it can do heroic channeling as its bonus heroic actions. It can take armored fell beast, armored horses, and horses. I went through the fell beasts in the previous video, so if you haven't watched that, go back and watch that. And it has Harbinger of Evil, Terror, and Will of Evil, just as every ring wraith. But it has, sorry, it has 2 specific abilities, which I'll come to now. It has Miasmic Presence. At the start of the move phase, before heroic actions are declared, the Tainted may elect to spend a point of will. If it does so, until the end of the turn, all warrior models within 6 inches of the Tainted may not benefit from the Standfast rule, nor take part in heroic actions. So this is a change from the old Tainted, which had this ability always on. Now you have to spend a will point, one of the reasons why it got 2 extra ones, to actually get the bonus of this ability. The other ability is Seeping Decay. At the start of the fight phase, roll a d6 for each non-spirit model, friendly or enemy in base contact with the Tainted. If the model is a cavalry model, roll for both the mount and rider. On the roll of a 6, they suffer a wound. So, a bit of a clarification from the old rule, but generally speaking, the same rule it had before. For magical power, it still has Drain Courage on the 2+, Transfix on the 3+, Compel on a 4+, Black Dart on a 5+, the new spell Instill Fear on a 5+, and Sap Will going up by 2 degrees to cast to a 5+ to cast. So I really like the Tainted. I really like the change that you'll see over this and the next video as well. That the named ring rates have changed in quite a way. They now have to use a will point to activate their abilities. Of course, Camul always had that he had to use a will. But now everyone else has, and I think that is a very nice change. I do feel that the named ring rates always were a bit overpowered, but I now feel that they are reasonably well balanced. I haven't looked directly at it, and of course the game hasn't been out that long at this point, so I haven't had the practice against them or practice with them so far. But I really like the Tainted, I always did. But I really like him as a model now. I think he's balanced, and that's the most important thing in my book. Next up, we have the Dwemer Lake, another named ring rate. Same points, same keywords as the Tainted, same stat line as the Tainted, but his might, will, and fate points are different. So it's still the same amount of might, will, and fate as it had last. So 0 might, 16 will, and 2 fate. I think at least that's the same as last. He carries heavy armor and 2-handed sword. Has heroic channeling, has access to the armored fell beast, armored horse, and horse. Has Harbinger of Evil, Terror, and Will of Evil. But now the ability that it has separate from the others are Sap Fortitude. So this reads, every time a hero model within 6 inches of the Dwemer Lake spends a point of might, will, or fate, the Dwemer Lake may elect to spend a point of will. If it does, roll a d6. On a 4+, the enemy hero model must spend an additional point of the same type, or the deed will be cancelled, and any might, will, or fate already committed will be lost. Note that a hero model that wishes to expend multiple points of might, will, and fate may wait to see if the Dwemer Lake rolls affect the first point of might, will, and fate before committing to spending more. The Dwemer Lake will have to spend a point of will for every point he wishes to affect, though he may wait to see if his first point of will affected his opponent before deciding to spend another point of will. So this costs the Dwemer Lake now, it didn't before, as with the Tainted, and as we will see on the remaining 6, remaining 5, because Camul always had that thing. But I think it is fantastic ability which is hugely underutilized. I believe. I don't think the Dwemer Lake has been taken much, but I do think we will see him quite much more on the table now. From my experiences with playing with Grima, I know that using that first point of might really affects the rest of the game for a 3 might hero. So having the Dwemer Lake in range of a mighty hero with three might, not necessarily a mighty hero the special rule, but a mighty hero that it is got 3s in the right places, that seriously upsets the game, because it can be to the detriment of spending that last point to might, and that will tip the balance for you, especially in an army not known for having loads of might points in it. So for the magical powers, it still has Drain Courage on the 2+, Transfix on the 3+, Compel on the 4+, Black Dart on the 5+, Instill Fear, the new one, on a 5+, and Sap Will again gotten a +2 to cast, now cast on a 5+. So that's the 2 ring rates. That's new to this army. Of course, remember to add the Witch King as a legendary hero in this one, because that's important. So although I'm not reviewing the the Witch King as a part of this army, it has to be taken into account. So Gulavar, the Terror of Arnor, not changed in points. Spirit, Angmar, Monster, Infantry Hero, and Hero of Valor. Has move 6, fight 7 now, so it has +1 fight from previously. Strength 8, Defense 5, and asterisk for its attacks. 4 wounds, asterisk for courage, 3 might, 3 will, and 0 fate. Carries huge claws and teeth, well, definitely. Heroic actions are heroic strength and heroic defense. Very nice, it has heroic defense. I really like that. It has fly, so it has a move of 6 and then fly as an option, so it is quite powerful. It has now Harbinger of Evil and Monstrous Charge to get +1 on the attack and knockdown. Resistant to magic is not new, and Terror is not new. Immortal Hunger is an ability it had before. It's an active ability which says Gulavar regains a single wound for each model he slays in combat. Rend is the only brutal power attack that allows Gulavar to regain wounds in this manner. This can never take his wounds beyond 4. So this previously had a limit on 1 wound regained each turn, if I'm correct. And it's now become much better because it can slay multiple models in a turn, especially if it's on full wounds, and then gains the monstrous charge, and then gains knockdown, so it has double strikes with a strength of 8 on every model on potentially 5 models in combat. So I think Gulavar is very good, and of course strength of body, strength of will. Gulavar's attacks and courage are always equal to his remaining wounds. Fantastic. That's the key part of this model, and this profile, and I really like that they kept it, but just improved upon it, made Gulavar viable again. So coming on now to Burda, Troll Chieftain. Unchanged in points. Troll, Angmar, Monster, Infantry, Hero of Valor. So, stat line also unchanged. Move 6, fight 6, 4+ shoot. Strength 6, defense 6, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, 4 courage, 3 might, 1 will, 1 fate. It carries a pick. Has heroic actions, strike, strength, and challenge. Really nice, it has challenge. I really love that. Terror, throw stones, range of 12, strength of 8, and lead by example. This is a new ability. In a turn which Burda slays an enemy hero or monster, model in combat, all friendly Angmar Orc models and Troll models within 6 inches of him count as being in range of a banner, which really gets it to the point that if you had priority, you want Burda to go first. If it's in combat with a hero or a monster, it has the ability to kill. So I really fancy that as an ability, and although he's not changed drastically, I feel that is a nice change for him. So for the most contentious model in the last edition, we come now to the Shade. Has it changed for the better or the worse? We will see now. So, points unchanged. Spirit, Angmar, Infantry, Hero and Hero of Fortitude. So it can still lead 12 troops. It has 6 move, 1 fight, 4+ shoot, strength 1, defense 8, 1 attack, 3 wounds, 1 courage, 0 might, 8 will, so it's gone up by a mighty 5 will points, and 0 fate. War gear. Whilst the Shade has no specific weapon, if it is a twisted mass of undead beings constantly lashing out at the enemies of the Witch King, Shade never counts as being unarmed. It has the Blades of the Dead special rule, so it always strikes against courage and terror, so no change there. But the main ability of the Shade and why it's so expensive in points is the Chill Aura. So how has that changed? Well, at the start of the fight phase, before heroic actions are declared, a Shade may expend a point of will to activate this ability. An enemy model within 6 inches of one or more Shades suffers a -1 penalty on its duel roll. This is cumulative with other such penalties, such as wielding a 2-handed weapon. So, the Shade's ability has changed in 2 ways, as I can see. First, it has to spend a point of will to gain access to the ability, so that's a good change for the people who didn't like the Shade being dropped in armies, and although you now are nearly always impossible alliances if you drop a Shade into an army, which can be to the detriment. It also doesn't suffer cumulative Shades, which I believe it could before. So if you had 2 Shades in there, you got a -2. Now you only get 1. Right. So I do think this change is good. Not necessarily good for the model, but a rebalancing. Next up, the Barrow Wights. Still the same amount of points. Spirit, Angmar, Infantry, Hero of Fortitude. It has move 6, fight 3, 4+ shoot, strength of 3 now, so it's gotten an extra point of strength. Defense 7, 1 attack, 2 wounds, so it's gotten an extra point of wound. And has 6 courage, 0 might, 5 will and 0 fate. It has heavy armor and sword, the Blades of the Dead special rule, and terror. So it's gained Blades of the Dead, and it still has the paralyzed magical power on a range of 6, casting on a 4+. So again, I think this is a good way to see more Barrow Wights in the field. It has improved a bit, and yeah, I think that is great, because the Barrow Wight is an underutilized hero in my book. I think the Barrow Wights are fantastic for what they can do, especially in an Angmar army, providing you with terror-causing orcs when they are in range of the spirit. So for the Angmar Orc Captain, this is dead identical to the Mordor Orc Captain, so I won't really go into it. It is a standard Orc Captain, not changing points, Hero of Fortitude, not changing the stat line, carries armor, sword or pick, has heroic march as all captains have, and the same options, warg, orc bow and shield. So not really changed at all. For the Angmar Orc Shaymin, again stat line identical to the Mordor Orc Shaymin, same amount of points. It's now a minor hero, so important to note. Same stat line, carries heavy armor, dagger and shield, spear, sorry. Has access to heroic channeling, has access to warg, but its magical powers are different. So it has access to wither, with a range of 12, casting on a 3+, and instill fear. So it has lost its, was it no, it was shatter, wasn't it? Shatter. It has an ability. No, it had fury, didn't it? It had wither and fury. The Gundabad Black Shield Shaymin had shatter. So, new spells for the Angmar Shaymin. Also, both Captain and Shaymin has the keyword Angmar. Important to note. For the Wild Warg Chieftain, one of my favourite models in the entire game, has gone up by a Mora Goblin worth of points with an equipment of its choice. Is Warg Infantry Hero and Hero Fortitude in Lead 12 models. Still has a move of 10, Fight 5, 5+ Shoot, Strength 6, Defense 5, 3 attacks now, so it's gone up an attack, 3 wounds, gone up by 1 encourage, so it's now at 4, 2 might, so it's gone up a might point, 2 will, so it's gone down a will point, and still 1 fate. Has claws and teeth for its wargear, has access to march and strength for its bonus heroic actions, and has the terror special rule and the Packlord special rule. Packlord hasn't really changed, only friendly warg models may benefit from a Wild Warg Chieftain's standfast and heroic actions. So, all in all, it's gained an attack, a courage, a might, but -1 will for the cost of a goblin. I think that is a good change. I think it's more balanced, and I see the will point being exchanged for a courage to be balanced as well, and really needed that extra point of attack and that extra point of might to be a contender in an army, and I really like what they did there. So going into the warriors now, we have the Angmar Orc warriors. So these are identical to the Mordor Orc warriors, which we saw in last video, except that they have the Angmar keyword. So all the stat lines, the wargear, still a bit miffed about them not including hammers and maces in them because of the old metal models, and access to the same options, so banner, orc bow, shield, spear and two-handed weapon. So, when it comes to the Angmar Warg Riders, they are minus a point from previously. The Orc, Angmar, Cavalry and Warrior. Same stat line as before, so move 6, fight 3, 5+ shoot, strength 3, defense 4, 1 attack, 1 wound, 2 courage. It has armor, sword and warg. It has access to banner, orc bow, shield and throwing spears. And the throwing spear is now a point cheaper. So I believe that Orc Warg Riders, Angmar Orc Warg Riders, are a much better option now, especially with the new rules for throwing spears as well, which gives it an edge in my book. Cave Trolls are up next. It's gone down by a goblin worth of points, but it might have not gone down as much as people would have it. It has move 6, it's still Troll, Monster, Infantry and Warrior. Move 6, fight 6, 5+ shoot, strength 6, defense 6, 3 attacks, 3 wounds and 3 courage. So unchanged in the stat line. Its wargear now automatically carries a spear. Its options are for a troll chain, or it may swap the spear for a hand-and-a-half hammer. So you now pay the extra points for it lost for the hammer option, and you still pay the same amount of points for the troll chain. It always had to spend points for the spear, but it now comes with that included. The troll chain is a throwing weapon with a range of 3 inches and a strength of 5, so it's gone up by a point of strength for the troll chain. It now has burly, so it can go two-handed without penalty, which is a fantastic boost for the Humbler Cave Troll. So normally you will face defense 5 or defense 6, which needs 4+ to wound. Now it only needs 3+, and it can bash with its hammer against really tough targets to take down. So for instance, Dane is a tough target to take down. You're only leading by 1 point, but doing it two-handed would give it a boost of another additional point to unmount it from its rocket sausage. It all, of course, has terror and throws stones with a range of 12 and strength of 8. I think the new Cave Troll profile is fantastic. I really love it, and I think we will see more Cave Trolls being taken. This also, the same profile change applies to Mori as well, so I do think that you'll see additional cave trolls in warrior armies more in the coming years for this edition. For the Dead Marsh Spectres, unchanging points, Sail Spirit Angmar Infantry and Warriors, has a move 6, fight 2, 4+ shoot, strength 3, defense 5, 1 attack, 1 wound, and 6 courage, so unchanged on the stat line profile. It has heavy armor and sword, still has Blades of the Dead and Terror, and Fell Lights is in them. A favourite among many evil players, the Fell Lights in them. And the rule is as follows, and it has changed ever so slightly. At any point during its move, a Spectre can choose a single enemy model anywhere within 12 inches and line of sight. I do not believe that line of sight was specified earlier, and this made for crazy shenanigans. Now it has to have line of sight, so that's a good thing. This model must pass a courage test or make a full move under the control of the Spectre's controlling player, even if it's already moved. This move cannot be used to enter enemy models' control zones or perform actions that would cause direct harm to the target, such as jumping down a cliff. It will also not be used to have the target dismount or lie down. Affected models may move no further that turn and may not use active abilities for the remainder of the move phase. A fantastic ability, and yeah, I hope we will see more Spectres on the field in this very thematic army. And for the last warrior of the Angmar army list, we have the Wild Warg. They've gone down by a point. They are Warg, Infantry and Warrior. Their stat line is unchanged at move 10, fight 3, 5+ shoot, strength 4, defense 4, 1 attack, 1 wound, and 2 in courage, and still claws and teeth. But for the points reduction, I now feel that Wild Wargs can be good again, especially with a change for the Wild Warg Chieftain, which not necessarily makes Wild Wargs better, but has more control of them with its upgraded courage and might points. So what do I think about the Angmar army in total? I feel that Angmar has often been overshadowed by the ability to take a Mordor army, if that makes sense. Because Mordor has proven to be better in the last edition, but I now feel that Angmar now has an edge of their own. So who knows if we will see more Angmar armies taken to the field, but I really like their aesthetic. I really like the fluff behind it and the new rules. So my hope is that we'll see more of it. But tell me in the comments your thoughts about the Angmar army, and please comment, like, share and subscribe, and do consider supporting STF on Patreon using the link in the description below, as it is a fantastic way for you to support efforts here at the studio. It gives us the monetary means to expand, improve and give you more cool videos each and every day of the week. So if that's at all interesting for you, please click the link in the description below to be taken to our Patreon page, but more importantly, support your hobby.